Welcome to Protect Your Children Now with your host, Christopher Gelson. We have quite the show lined up tonight. We have some crazy news about the professional baseball player Wander Franco. Once a promising light in Major League Baseball, just signed a huge contract, was ready to do amazing things for the Tampa Bay Rays. Well, instead of them calling him up to the plate, it seems like he's being called to jail. Allegedly. We have to be careful with that. He hasn't been found guilty of anything at this point. But, yeah, we're going to get into that story, and it's crazy. I mean, oh, my gosh, the mom's involved, allegedly involved, money, just crazy kind of stuff. And it just goes to show you, like, how whack the culture has gotten. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So, yeah, we're going to get into that. And then NAMBLA, I'm not even sure what I could say on YouTube. So the North American Man-Boy Love Association, as they call themselves, are they dead? See, I always heard that they were disbanded and that they were just no longer in existence. But there is new information to indicate that perhaps they're not so dead after all, and that they have simply moved their operations online. And that could explain why there are so many predators everywhere you freaking look. There's predators going after kids all over social media. Unbelievable. So we're going to get into that. Just the fact that an organization even started like that is unbelievable to me. I mean, the North American Man-Boy Love Association. What the heck is that? Like, I mean, if you're the FBI, aren't you like watching every single person that's part of that organization because you know what they're about, right? But yet they stayed in existence until like 1995 and probably still are today in a different way. So we're going to look into that also. But before we do that, I want to let you know that we do have lots of really cool stuff on our website, protectyourchildren.org or protectfrompredators.org. In-depth protection packets, okay, tips on preventing kidnapping, tons of stuff. Whole story about Zachary Bernhardt, the missing child. We're still working on that case. All our live shows are here. Child protection videos, how to keep your kids safe online, zip code predator searches, how to set up parental controls on all your kids' devices, lists of missing children by state. We do background checks, federal, state, and local, for as low as $5 background checks. You can donate to help us out. You can become a teacher of the guidelines that we teach. There's just tons of stuff, eye-opening statistics, all on protectyourchildren.org. So definitely check that out. And also on the website, you can find ways to help us out, whether that's following us on social media, whether it's printing out a flyer that's got our QR code on it, whether it's requesting a free bumper magnet, which has our QR code on it, and our website, which we'll send to you free of charge so you can drive around and protect kids while you're driving around. So that's pretty cool. Also, you can donate. There's links to donate to us for a not-for-profit, 501c3. It does take money to run an organization, so we rely on you passionate people out there to help us out. And that's what keeps everything going. Doing live shows, putting together content, advertising, the website, it all costs money. So everything that you donate goes right to the organization, not in our pockets, and we're thankful for that. That's protectyourchildren.org. Looks like Marie is in the chat. Thank you for Marie being there in the chat. And it looks like we've got 2 people watching on Twitter, a couple watching on YouTube. Someone on Twitter, do us a favor. We had heard this rumor that people on Twitter, if you comment, we can see it here on the home screen. Someone on Twitter, throw a comment down there. Say hi. Say where you're from, something. Say hi. Put a comment down there. I want to see if I can see it right here on my screen because apparently there's been an update where that is happening. Haven't seen a comment from Twitter yet. So if you would do that, we appreciate it. Appreciate it greatly. So, yes, protectyourchildren.org. Protectyourchildren.org. we got a hero segment coming up. Now, last week's hero segment, brave young girl. I'm sure we all remember that story. If you missed last week's show, you can check out the podcast. It's available on the website. It's available on all our social media. Very powerful hero child coming forward to talk about what she went through, who did it, and that takes bravery and courage, and she was our hero. This week's hero segment we're going to get into here in just a second. It's a little different. Now, look, the video came up on the feed. It's kind of cheesy. You can tell they're using AI, for the voices, but it makes a great point on what kind of child do you want to raise? What kind of child do you want to raise? Do you want to raise a child that's selfless, that's a hero, that thinks about other people? Or do you want to raise a child that's going to say, you know what? I don't need to help anybody out. I got what I want, and that's all that's important. Okay? And that's what this hero segment is going to kind of illustrate for us. Also, we do these hero segments because we want to protect kids from predators. That's what we do, right? Some of you guys, if you follow on social media, you've seen some of the videos we put up this past week. These freaks are all over Instagram. Our Instagram reels, they just come up, and there's a lot of kids on there. There's, all sorts of stuff. And as soon as we stop on one of the kids' reels, you go right to the comments and you can see the predators are all over these freaking kids. It's unbelievable. And it's like almost every single one. Like there's got to be tens of thousands of predators out there just looking for kids' profiles and commenting all this sleazy garbage on there, trying to get kids to talk to them. And parents, this is why it's so important for you to be nosy and know what your kids are doing online. These predators are tricky. They have tricks up their sleeve. They got threats. They're pulling all sorts of crap. And you got to have your eyes open and pay attention. But they're all over the place. So we want to protect kids from that, because once kids get abused or trafficked or kidnapped, their lives are destroyed. They are. And the chance that they can become a hero after that is very, very small. So the kids that are heroes, usually a testimony to the parents, usually a testimony to their faith, usually a testimony to maybe not having to go through an abusive situation. And then there are kids that actually do recover from tough situations and take that healing and that passion and go out and help others. And those are true heroes. And we see those every day as well. So let's play this hero segment. It's a few minutes long. It's like I said, it's kind of cheesy, but you'll get the point. You will get the point if you just stick with me here on this. So let's check this out. Oh gosh, here we go. Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Hi.
Is this your money?
Of course it's mine.
Give me a little help, please. I'm so hungry.
Why do I have to help you? Dirty.
How thick? What a classy girl, huh?
I really am. Unlike you, who is a poor guy.
Hey girl. Is it your watch?
It's my yes. What do you want to know, you raggedy man?
Oh my. How rude, huh? Hey boy. Would you have a little alms, a coin to give me, please?
No. But if you want, you can keep this sandwich.
Thank you so much, my son. Oh boy.
What?
Is it your cell phone?
No. My mom won't let me have a cell phone. But if you don't find the real owner, you can sell it to buy something better. That sandwich.
Thank you so much, my little friend.
You are welcome.
like to buy a lot of beautiful clothes.
Me, my dad gave me a new tablet because I got sick of the other one.
Do you know what we came here to do?
You sit back and wait, and stop asking, Seraphim.
Seraphim always with that silly boy face.
It's true.
Do you know about my grandfather?
That doesn't matter. Does it matter that he will give me something?
Ouch, ouch. That last boy didn't even care about his cell phone, right?
That boy has a good heart, boy. Now let's see how it will be there in the last race. And thank you so much.
It was a pleasure to help you, okay?
Right. See you there in the workshop.
Absolutely. Until, bye.
Bye.
Hello, kids. How are you doing? Very good.
Manol, tell your cousin that I'm coming soon because I have to go home today.
Children, I'm sorry to break this sad news to you, but Mr. John, he passed away 2 days ago.
Oh, it's about time. He was really old.
Is this true, Manuel? Yes, Seraphim. I'm sorry. He were very sick. Children. He asked me to gather the three of you here to talk about the inheritance. About what gets to each one.
Tell me what you have for me.
Speak up, you nerd. It looks like a turtle.
Let's go. To my office. Let's go. Come with me, Seraphim.
Fell.
Thank you, Seraphim.
I know it's cheesy. I got it. I mean, they could have done a better job with the audio and the voices, right? Of course they could have, but we get the point, right? So this millionaire, he's looking at his grandkids and he's trying to figure out which one's going to be responsible, which one has a heart, which one cares about other people. And turns out to be the youngest, whose name was Seraphim. And if you know what a seraphim is, it's an angelic being, usually associated with the highest hierarchy of the angels, having to do with light and love. So it's a fitting name for that child. But this is what we want to see, right? We want our kids to grow up selfless, right? Where they're thinking about other people, where they're helping other people out, where they're not snobby and stuck up, right? And that comes down to good parenting and good role models. But what also plays a part in that is making sure that these kids don't go through abusive situations. Because a child going through an abusive situation can turn them into somebody who doesn't look for others first, right? It can destroy who they are and who they're meant to be. We want our kids to be like Seraphim, right? We want our kids to be safe, protected, right? And think of others before themselves. And that's kind of the point of that little hero segment there, right? So tonight, Seraphim, he's our hero. Seraphim is our hero for tonight. So even though it was definitely could have been more well done. So, but in any case, that's a hero segment for tonight. Want to show you something that's going to blow your mind. Oh my gosh, I'll tell you something. Let me see if I can find it. There is a new ad that came out, and it was where I can't find it now, but it was the brand H&M. H&M was the brand, and they put out an ad with two young schoolgirls, right? And the caption of the ad said, "Let's turn some heads." Yeah, let's turn some heads. How you like that? Two young schoolgirls dressed in these little schoolgirl outfits, and it says, "Let's turn some heads." Well, you can imagine the backlash, which was phenomenal. The public was saying, "Hey, you're sexualizing the kids. You're promoting pedophilia. Have to be careful how I say things on YouTube. And they demanded that the ad be taken down. And I had the link, and I apologize, I don't know where it's at right now, but I had the link for you. But they pulled the video down, the commercial. But this is just more of the same. Remember Balenciaga? Remember that whole situation? Yeah, with the kids laying down next to the liquor bottles and dressed in all sorts of bondage stuff. It's just horrible, horrible stuff. But this is part of the desensitization, yeah, I can speak. You know what I mean? Desensitizing the kids and part of hypersexualizing them, right? It's just trying to normalize this type of stuff so that people see it enough to get desensitized and they're like, oh, it's no big deal. I've seen that before. Demoralize the kids, right? That's the predator's plan. Remember? Desensitize, demoralize, hypersexualize, and then attack. And if you look around today and ask yourself that question, are the kids today being desensitized? Are the adults today being desensitized? Just think about how much stuff that kids watch today and that adults watch today that they think is no big deal versus a long time ago. And people say, nah, it's no big deal. It's just a little bit of nudity. Yeah, no big deal. The movie was good. Just had one nudity scene, but it was all right. Like, no problem anymore, right? Desensitize and demoralize the culture. The society, through the culture, rather. That's what they do. And they hypersexualize the kids, and then the predators get in place to attack these kids. That's the plan. They've been doing it for quite a long time. We try to do our best to expose the ways that that is happening, along with other great organizations. But drawing light into the situation exposes the darkness. Hey, Tracy's there. She said, having issues in my Google Live chat, so I'm back on here. All right. That works. Good to have you, Tracy. Glad you're here. But anyway, that's the society. That's what's going on. So desensitize, demoralize, hypersexualize, and then attack. That's the predator's plan. And we start breaking down and looking at the different ways that that's happening. Through the culture, through the music, the movies, the TV. You guys saw, I don't know if anybody on social media saw our post earlier this week about the comedian. This comedian, right, was on stage. All the kids were brought there by their parents, knowing what type of comedian this guy is. Highly inappropriate for children. And the comedian looks out and he says something to one of the boys in the crowd. He asks how old the boy is. And the boy says, I'm 12. And the comedian says, oh, have you ever heard of, Pornhub? It says it to the kid. And then he starts telling the kid that if he goes on there, he could see, two boys' names, get messing around. Like, what? And the parents are laughing like, this is funny. The parents took the kids to a sexually charged comedy show. And because that comedian said that to that boy, and that clip's gotten replayed all over social media, now 1,000 more kids know where they can go find porn. Like what? See, but this is what's happening. Desensitize people. Get them to think it's no big deal. It's just funny. Yeah, he's just being funny, that guy. In the meantime, it's hypersexualizing your kids. And then predators have a better chance to attack and hurt them. It's unbelievable. Tracy said they never changed their MO, which is good news for us. The technology may change, but never the substance. That is absolutely true. These predators will find different ways to come at our kids through technology, through after-school programs, through churches, through the schools. But their modus operandi, their MO, is exactly the same. They have one goal, and they know the steps, the grooming that they do. We are aware of these things. And the more educated parents and the public become on spotting these things, the better we can protect kids. It's not like an ever-changing plan. Now, there are different variations of what they'll do, but the goal is the same. And if we're looking for the warning signs, then we can keep the kids safe. And that's what this show is all about. That's what the website Protect Your Children Incorporated, Protect Your Children and Protect Your Children Incorporated, us, is all about. It's raising awareness. It's about educating the parents and the public on the ways to keep kids safe and exposing these tricks and traps and these threats that these predators have put out there for the kids. That's the goal. All right, let's jump into Mr. Wander Franco, the baseball player. This is Wander right here, Mr. Wander Franco. Yeah, he's got his head down there. So, for those of you who haven't heard, Wander Franco was arrested and charged with a whole host of things. One of them being we'll say S, with a youngster. Listen, you got to do this with YouTube, okay? Because they will shut this live stream in like a blink of an eye. And so he was charged with that and a bunch of other things. Innocent until proven guilty. Absolutely. We're not saying he actually did this. But there were some text messages that were released on WhatsApp. Now, this youngster, this girl, was 14 years old. 14. And my first thought, of course, my immediate first thought was, he's been chatting with a 14-year-old in a sexually explicit manner for months through WhatsApp on the girl's phone. So what's your first question? Where's the parents, right? You're thinking, Mom, Dad, is anybody paying attention to what this child is doing on their phone, right? That's your first thought. And then as you read the story, you find out it wouldn't have made a difference anyway. It wouldn't have made a difference anyway. New details on Wander Franco investigation in Dominican Republic. This here says, when everything was falling apart for Wander Franco, the incandescent star shortstop for the Tampa Bay Rays, prosecutors in the Dominican Republic allege he opened WhatsApp on his phone and sent a message to the teenage girl with whom he carried on a months-long relationship and paid to remain quiet about it. Well, that's the oldest trick in the book, isn't it? Oldest trick in the book. Some of the messages here. My girl, Franco allegedly wrote in Spanish, if my team realizes this, it could cause problems for me. It is a rule for all teams that we cannot talk to minors. Well, that's way to go, MLB. And yet I took the risk and I loved it. This guy knows that talking to this girl is wrong. He knows if the team finds out, he's going to get in trouble. He knows he can potentially lose his Major League Baseball career. And that's not enough. He says, I took the chance and I loved it. He's a Major League Baseball star. Could you not find an 18-year-old? Maybe a 20-year-old? You sure could. But you see, this is the depths of the depravity that gets into people's minds. What possesses somebody who's worked his whole life, T-ball, Little League, coach pitch, all the way up to levels, high school, college, the minors, all the way up to the major leagues. And by the way, only less than 1% of all kids in Little League make it to the World Series, to the major leagues, and even less make it to the World Series. Less than 1%. This guy gets to the major leagues. He's got a huge contract. and he has to get involved allegedly in a S relationship with a 14-year-old? What's going on there? He says, I loved it. After a nearly 6-month investigation, Franco was arrested on New Year's Day. Happy New Year. For not appearing in court to answer a summons form from a governmental child welfare unit in his native Dominican Republic. Prosecutors later accused him of having sex with the 14-year-old youngster, we'll say, when he was 21 years old, and presented charges of commercial exploitation and money laundering. He could face up to 20 years in prison and is reckoning with the possibility of his MLB career ending at age 22. What goes on? What goes on in the brain? That's what I'm wondering. What happens now? What happens to your brain that just gets so twisted that you're willing to throw away everything you've worked for your whole life, and then you're willing to ruin a child's life? In a nearly 600-page document presented to the judge at a hearing this month and obtained by ESPN, prosecutors shared the evidence they have found in their investigation into Franco, underway since a formal complaint was filed on July 10th, 2023. The file includes transcripts of interviews with the girl and her relatives, messages between Franco and the girl, and more. There are serious questions regarding the authenticity of particular documents and references contained in the prosecutor's confidential file, which was inappropriately disclosed to certain media outlets, said Franco's United States-based attorney. In a statement to ESPN, we are in consultation with Mr. Franco's legal counsel in the Dominican Republic, and we intend to take the necessary legal measures in response. Yeah. Skip down. For all of its salaciousness, Franco's circumstances are rather straightforward. An all-star with Hall of Fame aspirations and a 9-figure contract, oh my gosh, has allegedly committed a crime that could land him in prison for years. The story of the girl, unnamed by ESPN because there are exploitation charges, includes alleged abuse not just from Franco, but also her mother, who herself faces charges of money laundering based on gifts and payments that she received from Franco. The mom's just as twisted, allegedly. Now, we'll read on and see that I believe there was some drug abuse and alcohol issues with the mother, which doesn't excuse it, but it certainly explains how her brain isn't working. And she was able to allow this to happen, allegedly. In the document, the girl detailed a toxic relationship with her mother, who the girl said sees me as an object to make money. During an interview with a forensic psychologist, the girl said her mother drinks heavily and gets violent. By the time the complaint was filed against Franco, the girl had moved out of her home, away from the woman who raised her. I don't see her as a mother, the girl told the psychologist. A mother doesn't do what she has done with me. Now, you see, we talked about this. Predators look for kids that are in these situations. This young girl, this child, clearly wanted to escape from her home. There's no dad in the picture. That's where she starts seeking attention from someone who's older. The mom's violent, exploits the girl, allegedly. And then here somehow Wander Franco allegedly finds her, starts chatting her up, and she falls right into the trap. Oh, I'll take care of you. You know who I am? I'm a Major League Baseball player. I got money. I'll love you. I'll take care of you. I'll buy you gifts. I will take you on trips. That's how they do it. Let's move on. The girl, now 15 years old, met Franco online, according to prosecutors. According to the documents, he took her from her home in Puerto Plata on the northern coast of the Dominican Republic on December 9th, 2022. For 2 days during that time, they had sex twice, prosecutors said, and started a relationship that lasted 4 months. A cousin who grew up with the girl's mother later told authorities that Franco would send a helicopter to, how do you say that, Montalano, a town near Puerto Plata, to pick up the girl and bring her to see him. Other times, she said, Franco's driver would ferry the girl from Puerto Plata to Franco's hometown. A 3.5-hour car ride. Okay, I'm expecting to see some more charges here with some other people. One time, the cousin said the mother paid a taxi driver 16,000 Dominican pesos, which is $275, so the girl could meet with Franco in was that Bonnie? The mother paid the driver $275 so the girl could meet up with the abuser. Allegedly. Franco, the girl told the psychologist, was not shy about being seen in public with her. They went to various social events, she said, and she relied on his money to be formal and groomed and not repeat her clothes. When her mother found out about the relationship, the girl said she suddenly started telling him that she needed things and asked for 100,000 pesos a month. Wow. So, we're now going to pay the mom off, and she'll take the money and keep it quiet and offer her child up. It's unbelievable. Welcome to the show, Dustin Powell. Glad to see you in the chat. Dustin said it's sick stuff. It absolutely is. And you've got to think, I mean, I just don't understand it. And that's a good thing that our minds can't comprehend this. Your whole life, $1 million contract, millions of dollars. Rising star. And you're going to throw all that away to allegedly meet with a 14-year-old girl? What is going on? Maybe it comes back to that desensitize and demoralize. Maybe he didn't really think it was that bad. You know, predators will say that they're actually helping somebody. You know, they're not hurting the child. When we get into NAMBLA, the North American Man-Boy Love Association, in a few minutes, that's what they believe. The relationships they have with the boys, they're not hurting them. They're loving them. They're helping them out, see? Is that what Wander was thinking? Oh, I'm just helping this girl. It's unbelievable. The girl said, since I was little, my mother has seen me as a way for her to benefit from both the partners she has had and my partners, and it's something that I really dislike. The girl said the way she did it with her partners was by telling them that I needed money for my education. Look at this. For most of the final 2 months of the relationship last year, Franco was in spring training with the Rays. After the season began, the relationship strained, and she started seeing someone else. After she told Franco, they talked over WhatsApp, according to the file presented to prosecutors. Franco wrote, quote, I would like you to forget everything you have learned to raise you my way, unquote. And she responded, and what is your way? Without love? Without respect? Franco said to her, there was more to it, but you're just a girl and you don't know how to get along with me. That's why you failed. But I'll give you only one chance. You must be only for me. Don't look at anyone. I know you've been with someone else, but no one will know how to use you the way that I want. There you go. Blame the child. Right? That's the other tactic. Blame the child. It's her fault. See? Make her feel bad. Yeah, and Tracy said she gets it. He's the pervert. Like something started getting in her head where she was like, wait a minute, this is not right. This is just wrong. You don't respect me. You don't love me. And she tries to get away. And what does he do? What does he do? Starts blaming her, making her feel bad. Whew. Meanwhile, the girl's relationship with her mother worsens. Another relative interviewed by authorities told prosecutors that the girl wrote a letter saying she was going to kill herself, alarming family members. Sorry, YouTube, unalive herself. She moved out of her home, prompted her mother to file a kidnapping complaint, according to sources. The mother alleged the girl once pulled a knife on her. And so it goes. In July and August, Franco had given the girl 2.7 million pesos, which is about 46,000, to support herself until college. With it, she bought an iPhone, an iPad, her school uniform, supplies, and personal items. Her cousin helped her open a bank account to deposit the remainder, which was around 37,500. And Franco had furnished the girl's mother with even more money. All right, we got the point. We get the point. Yeah, Marie T says the mom needs prison too. Absolutely. And you know, anybody that took part in getting this young girl to Wander Franco needs to be charged as well. Dustin, great point. Dustin Powell, he said, yep, just like the stings, they blame the decoy that they tricked them and play with their minds. No, it's you that did wrong. You took that leap. It's your thoughts. Exactly right. You can't blame somebody else. You can't blame somebody else. But this is how deep it goes, man. This is how depraved a mind can get. Wander Franco could have any woman he wants. And for some reason in his mind, he's got to go after a kid. Allegedly. It's just unbelievable. Something's wrong there. Whew. Man. NAMBLA. The North American Man-Boy Love Association. That sounds nice, doesn't it? It's just about love, right? Man, I remember hearing about these people decades ago and thinking, you've got to be kidding me. Is there really an organization in the United States of America that promotes the P word? I don't think I can even say it on YouTube now. The P word. Pedos, man. Unbelievable. And it actually existed. Where these like-minded pervs would get together and they would strategize on how to find kids. And strategize on how not to get caught. And share their sick stories with each other. And they would bring kids to these meetings. In America. And then we all heard the good news back in the mid-90s. I remember this. Around 1994, 1995, they said, NAMBLA's finished. Police raided one of their locations, found at least 1,000 predators on the rolls, arrested a whole bunch of people, and they said, NAMBLA's done. They're gone. Let's move on. Let me ask you a question out there. When's the last time you heard anything about NAMBLA in the news? Independent media, mainstream media, anybody talking about NAMBLA? No, because everyone thinks they're gone, which is just the way they like it. Let me share something with you real quick. This just for context. Look at this. See what this says here? Organized crime roundup, okay? The mobs have killed 1 million people. That's an estimate, right? From 2000 to 2017. Now, this obviously an old stat. Big mafia takedown in Italy and more, and it goes on to talk about all of this stuff. Now, why do I bring this up? 1 million people, right? And it's probably more than that. That's just the ones that they know about, right? Because, you know, Johnny over here, he had to go take care of some business down at the docks, and no one found that body because he was wearing concrete shoes. You know what I'm saying? That's right. But I bring that up because how did the mafia get away with what they did for so long? How? How did they do it? Dustin says they made a Law and Order SVU episode when they shut it down, if I remember right. Awesome. I'll have to look that up. Huh. But the mafia got away with what they did for so long because they had coordination, they had secrecy, they were spread out all over the freaking place, had chapters, if you will, all over the place. They didn't all stay in one spot. And they didn't really communicate publicly about what they did. Right? And these predators are the same way. They're the same way. They do the same thing. Look at this. Statistics about grooming and online predators. Says there is an estimated 500,000 online predators active each day. 500,000 as an estimate every day. Children between the ages of 12 and 15 are especially susceptible to being groomed or manipulated by adults they meet online. 500,000 as an estimate. Now, let's just say that's on the low side. Even if it's not. That's 500,000 predators online every single day. I tend to think it's higher than that. Just considering Instagram and how infested it is with predators. The most I've ever seen on any social media app. Instagram, TikTok used to be the worst, but they've actually started cracking down, and there's still some bad stuff on there. But Instagram, my God, it seems like every profile that comes up has got some sick predators commenting on it and trying to communicate with the kids. It's like an infestation. But what happens is these predators have multiple targets. Multiple kids. Look at this. Take a look at this logo, right? Just their logo. Look how they write it all a little crooked, like little boys' handwriting. I mean, is that sick? It just tells you something right away. It's unbelievable. Here's another one. This was actually from their website. I mean, what kind of nerve? What kind of sick, evil, psycho people This came off of their website. Guarantee it's real life. And look at this. Current features. Now, this was in 2022. Updated November 27, 2022. New on the site. What is new on the site? So the website's still active, but I thought they were dead. I guess they're not so dead after all. Here we go. Look at this. Here's the website right here. Since 1978, celebrating 44 years of destroying kids' lives. Letters, humor, topics. Youth views and issues, the criminal injustice system, stories of man-boy love. Right on their freaking website. Poetry, film and television. How? Oh, freedom of speech, right? Freedom of speech. Yeah, Tracy said, who has the power to hide 500,000 people? Well, I think we could safely say the heads of all the tech companies, they could hide them. Can't they? And that's the point. That no one's even talking about these people anymore. Look at this. Who we are. The North American Man-Boy Love Association was formed in 1978. It was inspired by the success of a campaign based in Boston's gay community to defend against a local witch hunt. NAMBLA's goal is to end the extreme oppression of men and boys in mutually consensual relationships. What? By building understanding and support for such relationships, educating the general public on the benevolent nature of man-boy love, cooperating with, I don't even know what I could say anymore on this thing, with the LGBT movements, supporting the liberation of persons of all ages from sexual prejudice and oppression, and participation is open to everyone sympathetic to their cause, they say. Everyone who's sympathetic to their cause, these sick scums. Marie T says, I seriously want to vomit. Yeah. Hey, Dustin, thank you. It was Law & Order SVU Hardwire, 10/21/2009. Let's look at this real quick. This is off of Wikipedia. It says the group no longer holds regular national meetings as of the late 1990s to avoid local police infiltration. The organization discouraged the formation of local chapters. Now watch this. Around 1995, an undercover detective discovered there were 1,100 people on the organization's rolls. NAMBLA was the largest group of international pedophile and child I can't speak tonight. Emancipation and international pro-pedophile activist organization. Now, it says here on Wikipedia, since then, the organization, so since 1995, the organization has dwindled to only a handful of people, with many members joining online pedophile networks. Let me tell you, they've joined more than just regular pedophile networks. You know what else happened in 1995? Look at the stats. The launch of the Mosaic browser in 1993 opened up the web to a new audience of non-academics, and people started to discover how easy it was to create their own HTML web pages. Consequently, the number of websites grew from 130, just 130 in 1993, to over 100,000 at the start of 1996. By 1995, the internet and the World Wide Web were an established phenomena. Netscape Navigator, which was the most popular browser at the time, had around 10 million global users in 1995. And do you wonder where they went? Where did NAMBLA go, people? Yeah, they stopped meeting in person because they were getting busted. They went online. They went online. This is the point. They went online. These people are everywhere. Now, back to the mafia point that I made. Now that there's the internet, where all these people can be connected, and VPNs, disguised networks, hiding behind. Do you think our kids are in danger? NAMBLA is not gone. And I'll venture out to say that there's probably millions more just like them now. And they're all hanging out online, just waiting for your kids to post, waiting for your kids to do the latest trend, the latest challenge, content. What else do you like to do? Oh, I like to do sports, and I like to go to school over at so-and-so. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, okay. Thanks for telling me where you go to school. Thanks for filming out in front of your house so I can see what street you live on. Thank you for telling me when your parents aren't home. NAMBLA are trained scum. They are trained scum. And just because they don't have a physical location anymore doesn't mean they're gone. And no one's reporting on that. So what you have is, like the mafia, you have an organized crime family spread out across all the platforms on the internet, all the chat rooms, all the social media apps, looking for kids, looking to connect with them. And of course, these apps, no identification necessary, no age verification necessary. You can have multiple accounts, even from the same device. One of the things we posted this earlier week was the second post we did about some scum perv who posted on a 12 or 13-year-old kid's reel. Oil up, I'll be there in 5 minutes, boy. You know, we posted that on TikTok and it got taken down for violating the community standards. And we're still trying to figure out if that's good or bad. I mean, it seemed like it mentioned something about harming a child, so they took it down. Oh, okay. But, we're trying to protect kids here. And we think they just disappeared and disbanded? No, they went into hiding. And now they're stalking out the kids all over the internet. And why do we keep screaming like a broken record? Parents, be nosy. Parents, watch what your kids are doing. Because they'll get trapped. Oh, my kid's too smart. They won't fall into that. Oh, we wish that was the case. Oh, that would be great. Then there'd be no cases, right? My child will never get kidnapped. They'll never go with an older person. They know better. Oh, that'd be great. That'd be fantastic if that was the truth. but it's not, because it's happening every day. Every day. It will likely be decades before the society can have an honest, non-hysterical conversation about kids and S. A pedophilia advocate who calls himself, whatever, okay, said earlier this month over Twitter direct message. He claims to be a steering committee member of the North American Man-Boy Love Association of NAMBLA and is concerned about the organization's future. His fears aren't unfounded. See, NAMBLA, once a visible advocate of pedophilia, doesn't feature heavily into what I call the online pedosphere these days. Membership numbers and group activities are difficult to pin down, he says, but based on online research and conversations with alleged former members, as well as opponents of the group, both appear to have dwindled to nearly nothing. Bull crap. Oh, they're still there, but they're in the shadows now, lurking around, getting into your kids' heads, in the darkness of their room, in the darkness of the bathroom, and the parents aren't looking. That's where NAMBLA went. This guy claims there's only a handful of people still involved. And now, of course, they want to have a new name, right? Some pedophiles now call themselves minor attracted persons. Yeah, it's just a gender thing, right? And MAPs have their own language in the pedosphere, which is divided into the boy love, sometimes abbreviated BL, and girl love communities. According to some anti-contact MAPs, like to see that one, the ones who claim they would never try and have S with a minor and say they're devoted to a lifelong struggle against their own urges, NAMBLA would be considered a pro-contact group. Oh, so they're coming out against NAMBLA, yeah. It's unbelievable. Listen, yeah, I'm with you, Dustin. He said, I hate that new name, MAPS. Yuck. Yeah, I know. Tracy said, my daughter reported on a guy talking about how there really is no difference between a 14-year-old girl's body and a full-grown woman's body. He was like 20. The girl told him that he was a creep. Good. And Roblox, oh my gosh. Tons of pedos on Roblox. Listen, we don't want to be preaching to the choir here. That is the biggest fear, right? And everyone's got that fear, right? Doesn't a pastor want to have new people come in to a church, right? I mean, anybody who is speaking on an important topic, they don't want just people who agree with them there and already know the stuff that they're talking about. They love to have new people come in. And that's our hope too. That somewhere out there are new people. And we see a couple of new names tonight. Thank God for that, because what that means is there's a little bit of a reach starting to happen. And that the education and awareness is starting to be talked about and spread among other people who may not even realize what the heck is going on. It's been way too quiet for way too long. Parents have turned a blind eye. Kids haven't had a clue. And now is the time to wake people up and say, this is dangerous. This is what's happening. NAMBLA has got an organization now probably 1 million strong across the web, on social media apps and internet chat rooms everywhere, just looking to trap kids everywhere. Not to mention the ones that aren't part of NAMBLA. It's the same ilk. Might as well be. Please share this podcast. When the show's over, share it. People need to know about this. As I mentioned last week, we get maybe 10 shares a week on our content. 7,000. We're getting 10 shares. That's not cutting it, people. That's not really getting it out there. We should have thousands of views on these awareness videos and podcasts instead of 100. But we need good people like you, passionate people like you, to like, to share, to tweet, retweet, subscribe on a continual basis so that people who aren't aware can become aware. This is our Rumble page right here. As you can see, all the live shows are here. Tons of them. Of course, it shows this show upcoming because I haven't refreshed. Everything that we've talked about. Look at this. Classroom grooming. Right? How Scholastic is making sure to insert sexual content in the books that the kids are getting at school. Right? 85,000 kids missing from the border. I mean, this video here, a 13-year-old went out looking. A 13-year-old was looking for online predators, found them, and got trapped. And the boy joined us to tell his story. Tons of stuff. Adventure Island down here in Tampa, Florida. Adult men were showering and they were naked in front of children at a public water park. And did you know that Uber can be used for child sex trafficking now? Yeah, Uber's allowing kids to have accounts. And we did one live on the show. Didn't even have to show an ID. Just created it, sent the invite, and I can send a car to a kid right now and have him take him wherever I say he's going to go or she's going to go. Thanks, Uber. Thanks for nothing. It's absolutely horrendous out there for our kids right now. And again, like I said, we're going to wrap up here, but you don't have to put them in bubble wrap, and keep them in a corner. But you teach your kids. You teach them the warning signs. You educate them. You keep an open and honest conversation with them. That's so important. And there's kids that just have broken homes where they don't have a relationship with their mother or their father. What happens to them, you say? Well, that's where other good people need to step in and fill that gap. Step in and say, I'm here. This is what you got to look out for. You're too important for this. Don't let somebody use you for this. Someone to say, I'm a good person and I will help you. And I will never expect you to do something that is wrong. This is where we all have to step up. We talked about how Pokemon Go, that famous game now, right? Now has instant chat. Yeah. The kids are out there running around playing Pokemon Go, which is dangerous as it is because they're going to locations that they're not familiar with, looking for fake Pokemons to catch. And now there's a chat feature where you can communicate with other people that are going to Pokestops near you, even though you don't know them. Kids can communicate with these adults, and they end up meeting them at these Pokestops. What the heck is that? Thanks, Niantic Labs. Which, by the way, is a technology arm of the CIA. But that's a whole nother story. You can look that up. It's unbelievable. It's just getting worse and worse. But education and awareness and a passion to protect are the weapons that we need to slow this whole thing down. Dustin said kids should also watch out for their friends. Yes, tell your kids to ask their friends the hard question if they feel like something is off at them. Yes. Yes, thank you. That is absolutely correct, Dustin. Because the kids that are trained and educated can talk with their friends and find out if something's happening with them and potentially help them. That's all part of caring about other people, like our hero segment at the beginning. I want to thank you all for being here. Appreciate you. Please subscribe if you haven't to our YouTube, our Rumble. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, like our page. We're out there on all the social media. We post stuff throughout the week, plus these live shows. Get the word out. Websites protectyourchildren.org and protectfrompredators.org, protectfrompredators.org, and protectyourchildren.org. Tons of great education and awareness, great resources. It's all free. Check it out, protectyourchildren.org. And please, like I said, share this podcast. We need to spread this around so we can keep the kids safe. So thanks again for being here. Until next week, we hope you all have a great week. Keep your eyes open. Be nosy. Keep protecting your kids. Be strong.